This is the worst experience I've ever had as a legal transcriptionist. I always talk about the good things, so let's talk about the one mistake that I made that I will never make again. This job was a nightmare on literally every level, logistically, administratively, monetarily, time-wise. When I took the job, I had this nagging feeling inside of me that I shouldn't take it, and that is something that I've really grown to learn and trust over the years. I'll tell you why this job was so crappy and why you should really avoid jobs like this. Number one, the timeline just sucked. I was told that this was going to be about a 4-day trial, but every day was short. And when I got the audio, it looked like each day was about 2 to 3 hours. So compiled together, like a 4-day of 2 to 3 hours is roughly, I can't do math, but 12 hours, 10 hours. So that's like roughly 2 weeks of work for me. The rate was a little bit lower than I typically accept, but I've worked for this court reporter in the past. Based on where he lives, I know this is kind of the only amount that he can afford because I've done business with him before and I like to, be there for the people I've worked with who tell me that I do good work. I worked with him again. When I started working on the audio, immediately I encountered an attorney that was on this case that I think he had like a trach or something, which no foul to anybody who deals with that kind of thing. But when you are a lawyer talking into the record, that makes it really difficult. And then the biggest problem of all, once I finished the first day, I realized, man, we're missing large chunks of this trial. And I realized that the court reporter was mistaken. They weren't short days. I was already working on this extremely tight deadline with bad audio, poor speakers. The pay wasn't that great. And now I found out that I needed to get essentially double the amount of pages done in the same time. Because the timeline was so short, we didn't have a lot of time to get this done. And when I say I couldn't help, I couldn't help. Like I was already taking as much as I possibly could. I couldn't help anymore. So he started looking for outside help. And based on just the content of this trial was really nefarious. It was tough to listen to. It involved burns and like a pretty catastrophic incident that had happened with a family. So that wasn't a lot of fun. And then also the audio sucked and the timeline sucked and his pay sucked. Of course, he didn't find anybody. He pressured me so hard to try to take on work. And then guess what? When I sent my invoice for the half work, it took months to get paid because he was late on the transcript. He couldn't find workers. It was literally such chaos. Now, as a more experienced legal transcriptionist, I understand what my non-negotiables are. My non-negotiables are, these are my rates, these are my turnaround times, this is the amount of audio that I accept, this is the quality of audio I accept. In all sums of things, I mean, this isn't that bad. This was one instance. I lost out on like a little bit of money over about 2 weeks worth of work, but it was fine. If you're interested in being a legal transcriptionist, check the info out on my page. Thanks.